Oof. Tell me you live in New York without telling me you live in New York. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It feels so nice to be recording again because we have new episodes. I know I said I was going to do things during the hiatus, but life got busy and I ended up taking on another job, so I was unable to be filming and editing with this new job, but this year will be a lot better, so I cannot wait. God, it's been forever. How's life? How is everyone staying safe? We're still living in a pandemic here in America. It's still like thriving. You know, we have the Delta variant killing it. Also, I hope if it is available to you, if you could get vaccinated, definitely do it. I did it. I am so happy I did it. And I highly, 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 highly suggest you guys all do it too. But on to what we are all here for, and that is season 5, episode 11. It is called Strange Bedfellows. I feel like I wasn't up on the titles this week because of it. We got a lot of information this past few days about this episode, and let's just say this is highly anticipated as a Bughead. Not because like they're gonna get back together, but we're gonna get some past things. So that is very exciting. Also, did we all see the blooper reel from season 4? It was hilarious. I loved every second of it. I will link it below so you guys can check it out. Okay, I don't know if I'm ready. All my friends have already watched it. It is currently 10:49 on the East Coast. I was at an amusement park all day, and I literally just walked through the door. I set my camera up, and I'm ready to go. I'm in my living room. That's why this is like a totally different background than my past videos. And now I'm just rambling because I kind of want to put this off because I don't even remember how to watch Riverdale. I actually didn't watch a single episode over the hiatus, except a few here and there. But usually during a hiatus, I'll rewatch the entire season, and I just didn't do that. But I did read a lot of Bughead fan fiction. That is what I did throughout this entire thing. I reread a lot. If that's something you're interested in, some like Bughead fan fiction recommendations, let me know. I would love to do a video on that because I keep a little book of all the ones I really like, and I reread a few. I currently reread one today. So, okay, I can't put this off anymore. I will come in with my little reviews in between instead of doing one at the end, just because it saves me a lot of time. So, you'll be getting my fresh reactions. See ya when it starts. Oh my god, I can't. I just need to start it so I can get my reaction. My air conditioner is loud. I need to like make the TV loud. God, Jughead is missing. God. Again. I can't stand this show. Okay. First part just happened. We got a good recap, which I needed. I needed the recap because I forgot where we were. But, the school got destroyed. That's the first thing we open with. And Alice says this funny thing, like, oh, back to remote learning. And it was like, really? They weren't remote learning in the first place because COVID didn't exist in your world. But you know what? I'm not gonna pick and choose what's happening in the show. I gotta pick my battles, and that is not a battle I am willing to fight for. The next, Veronica comes home, and she got like this opal, like a stone, a crystal. Not really crystal. Yeah, they call them crystals. Sent in from Ethiopia, so that way she can sell it, so that way she can start paying Chad off, so that way she can get a divorce, so that way she can be with Archie. And in the end, we want Veronica and Archie together, because that is good. Archie is good, in my opinion. Fire below if you disagree. I really don't care that much. And Smithers tells her about the prison break. which then leads us to her going to Archie, and he's like, everything's fine, we're gonna make it work. And Archie says to her, look, I don't think we should be near each other until you and Chad get a divorce. I'm sorry, where was this loyalness to your actual girlfriend 7 years ago when you cheated on her with her and your best friend? I understand he grew up, he went to the military, live your best life. However, we needed that 7 years ago, Archie. Okay? All right. But no. And so they're going to keep their distance, and he's going to help find other convicts that escaped from the prison. Penelope is back at Thornhill, and she started a ministry in prison. Basically, we're going to get Cult 2.0. It's what we need. In Riverdale, anything could happen. So that happens. I let the blossoms live. Charlotte has a really funny line that's whispered. I don't know if anyone else caught it. She goes, well, you are legally senile. She said that to Nana Rose, and I thought that was hilarious. And then Betty is on the Lonely Highway checking out truckers, and she gets a phone call from Tabitha about Jughead, and she was like, Jughead is known to go on these benders and off the grid for a while, and she's like, no, it's a long story. And then Betty has a change of heart and says, I can stop by and help you look tomorrow. So she's like, thank you. And then Pops almost gets robbed from one of the convicts, and luckily Penelope walked in and Tabitha was able to get him over the head. And then we see him in the hospital talking to Tom Keller and Archie, but he won't talk. He just wants a lawyer. He says that most of the convicts left Riverdale trying to get out of there, but others stick around, but he will not name names on who. And then Veronica gets robbed at her jewelry store by Dodger and Carla. TBT. Those are our good old pals from season 2 and 4. God, missed them. If you don't remember, in season 2, they were the ones that were friends with Chick, Chick was friends with their family member that's who they killed. Alice and Betty, Alice killed, and Betty, Jughead, and FP helped hide the body in the car and everything. And then they came in and they were holding Alice, Betty, and Chick hostage, and Betty called Jughead, and Jughead and the Serpents knocked down the door, and was and Betty goes, you think you two can mess with all of us? Try it. Iconic. And then in season 4 they go to Thanksgiving at the center. Okay. And Veronica has the best line of the episode already, which is, what the hell just happened? Which is basically what I say every single time I watch this show. On to the next part. I fast forwarded a little too much and I was able to see Fangs, and oh my god, he looks amazing. Thank you. It's in the middle of the section, but I need to talk about it now because I have so many feelings. Archie, Kevin, and Fangs are cleaning up the school, and Hiram is having a bounty for any of the missing convicts because it's all part of this weird PR plan, and the governor is very upset at Hiram. Archie's going to try and find these convicts so he can get money to fix the school. And Hiram is smiling and being all giddy and happy that something is working to his advantage, and I want to know what it is, and it's annoying me that I can't figure it out. That's first of all. Second of all, Reggie and Veronica have this amazing scene where Veronica calls Reggie to help find the rock, the opal, and Veronica's trying to get Reggie back to their side instead of working for her father, but we find out that the reason why Reggie's working for him is because his dad needed money, and now Reggie is paying off his father's debts by working for Hiram, which is how Hiram works. So, but Reggie said he will help. I kind of don't know if they're like adding these Veronica and Reggie scenes back because they might be dating again. That's been like a rumor going around that Charles Melton and Cammie are dating again. So if that is, that's, I mean, let them live their lives. Who cares? But I always liked Veronica and Reggie's like relationship. It was always very sincere and sweet. And then we have Betty at Pops with Tabitha, and you know, Tabitha tells her the whole story about how he's taking mushrooms to write his story now, and Betty goes, I can't say I'm not surprised. Like, I guess because, you know, the Jones past with like drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Tabitha then mentions that while he was high, that he made a pass at her, and when she like dodged it, he said, don't be such a Betty, first sign of fun and you go and kill it. And Betty's like shocked, like, you know, and this was after she said to Tabitha, the reason why Tabitha told her is because this is not my problem anymore or yours. Like, this has nothing to do with them. Which, like, I get. That was a little harsh, Betty, I have to say. A little harsh. Like, this is still someone you loved. And you might still love a little bit. And you're just gonna, like, do that? Like, come on. Like, but she turns around. She turns herself around. And then she apologizes on Jughead's behalf for, like, saying that to her. And she's like, but I will help you. And then they want to go to the bunker to see it for herself. And I just got, like, and she mentions that it's because the last missing person that she, like, waited for was Polly, and now, like, she's probably dead. But I'm just, like, there's something underlying here, and I can't wait until the next coming episodes where we can, like, see it in fruition. Okay. All right. From where I last paused, Darla was pretending to be a nurse, and and Tom Keller walks in as she's like trying to inject the person who was robbing Pops and is now in like the hospital where Archie and Tom were talking to him prior, and she hits Tom, and then she calls someone on the phone and is like, he's not gonna be talking anytime soon, and I got us another little prize. So I don't know if she's working for Hiram, I don't know who she's working for. That'll be found out later. And then we see Betty and Tabitha in the bunker, and Betty's looking, and she's like unsure of what happened. Like, she sees the blood everywhere, that's the weirdest part for me. It's like, how did he get bloody? Did someone take him? Did he try to rip himself out? Like, I wish we were able to see what happened but that would go against the mystery of where he is. That was stupid, Catherine. She sees that he left his phone, and she goes, that's never a good sign. They decide to each Betty says, it might be weird, but we're going to have to read his book and see, like, if there's anything weird in it. Any weird names or places where he might have gone. Maybe that'll help us find him. And so they each take half, and then mine somehow jumped. I don't know if it's missing something, but it jumps right to Jughead, like trying to stay warm. Making a fire out of the dumpster, out of the trash can, that's very old school, but who knows? It might still happen today. I don't see it often when I walk around New York. He's just trying to stay warm, and like these guys come up to him and are like trying to get at him and are like teasing him sort of, and then they attack him and they kick him and they push him to the ground, and he opens his eyes and we see like a shadowy figure, and then he closes his eyes, and that was the end of this like section. On to the next part, which I think will probably be like the sneak peek that we had the other day with Betty and Tabitha when they call Jessica, is probably in the next section, but we'll see. I am so confused. I don't even know where this started. Well, I was right. They showed the little scene that we had already seen between Tabitha and Betty. They're in the bunker, and Betty asked Tabitha where he got the shrooms from. And she says his ex, Jessica, brought them home because maybe he spoke to her. And she goes to open the phone, and it's still the same passcode. And she says that. And it's like, Betty, why do you remember his password from 7 years ago? That's the real question. But it's neither here nor there. And I think that's what Tabitha was like looking at her like, and you still remember it? Like, and so she talks to Jessica, and Jessica's like, whoa, this is like the Betty. And she goes, I have so many questions. And that's like obvious, because when you're dating someone, you're going to talk about your ex a little bit. It's what happens. But I think Jughead talked about Betty a little bit too much, is what I think. And Jessica's going to come up to Riverdale to help find Jughead. And, you know, Betty was like, that's not necessary. And he goes, well, he owes me money anyway. Like, text me the address. So Jessica's coming to town. Yay. I actually enjoy the character of Jessica just because it throws a wrench into everything. Like, you always know, like, chaos is gonna ensue with her. Oh, it started with, like, Archie, his uncle, Fangs, and Kevin all at Archie's house, and they're working together to get all the old convicts. And, like, obviously his uncle was in the prison, so he's able to help, and maybe he knows where they are since he knows them. And Kevin can't get in touch with his dad because he was supposed to be there too, because obviously he's on the floor of the hospital right now and no one knows. And there was a cute little Fangs and Kevin moment, because Fangs just like still can't get in touch with him, and he goes, no, thanks for asking, because, you know, they broke up and it was sad. But whatever. Then it was the whole Betty and Tabitha scene, and then we get Penelope doing her sermon. And Cheryl's peeping in, and Cheryl finally is like, who is this, like, man that you're talking about? Like, who's, like, are we drinking, which water? And he was, my son, Jason. And I was like, are you kidding me? We couldn't get one season without Cheryl having to worry about some Jason bullshit. But, whatever. We get another Jughead scene. And he is, like, shivering. He, like, homeless, like, on the side of somewhere in like a little like in New York City, a lot of the homeless make their own like makeshift homeless shelters, but it's still outside. And someone saved him, and we find out that his name is Doc. And we thank God they gave us this flashback that Jughead remembers, that he told the Stonies about the time that when he was homeless, but he watched this guy Doc get like the shit beat out of him, and he just stood there and watched. And I would never remember that. I would not have put two and two together. So thank you, Riverdale editing, for giving us that flashback for us. And he lies and says that his name is Henry, I think because he was afraid that this guy was going to remember him, and he just wants to get out of there, but he can't. They think he has an infection. His left hand is all bandaged up, which is the hand that Tabitha handcuffed. So who knows? I don't know. And then the four guys, they get to to where Dodger and all the other convicts are, and they break down the door, but Dodger left, and he's like, there's a warrant out for your arrest. Archie's like that. And we're gonna take you in. And then one of them goes, you didn't bring guns, that was dumb. But then Reggie was there, and he goes, put down your gun, and he had a gun. And so I was like, oh, Reggie, like, coming in. I was like, why are you there? And then I forgot that he's trying to find the thing for Veronica, and Veronica's there, and she tells Archie, like, you need to help me find my thing, because my buyer's getting, like, restless. And he goes, let me get this straight. You go to New York, when I didn't want you to do that. You probably spent the night with your husband, who didn't sign divorce papers, and now you want me to help you find this thing. And I was like, oh shit, Archie is upset, which I don't blame him. I mean, Veronica's in some trouble here, but he agreed, of course. And then we get Hiram on the phone talking to someone, to the governor, I think. And someone's there with basically the Walking Dead bat, like, you know, the bat with like the barbed wire around. And he's like, or we're gonna kill you. I'm like, what is happening? That's what I was so confused about. It's like, why are we, like, I thought Hiram was behind all this. How is he? But I love Mark Consuelos. He is very hot. All right, so Jessica's in town, and they're looking at where Jughead has been staying, which is Archie's garage, and she's looking for something, and she's just looking for other drugs that he might have taken, and wasn't there. And they're like, where else would he have done his writing if not home? And they were like, at school. He has a desk there. So they go there, and he's not at school, and Betty's like, he lived under the stairs once, and just like, they just can't find him. They don't know where he is. We also get, now we understand what's happening. I should have waited to do this. This is why I shouldn't do this way, but I do. And it helps sometimes. But we get Cheryl and Penelope are talking, and, you know, their whole storyline is basically that Penelope started a church worshiping her dead son, and Cheryl's like, I tried so hard to get over this. I burned him. Like, I dealt with so much that this is wrong, because you're swindling these people into believing that there's this higher power, and there isn't. Like, he's just a dead boy, you know. So I feel bad for Cheryl. I think she just got over everything, and now her mother's coming to bring it back up, and she says, you're doing this to me, and she got really upset. I don't blame her. And then we find out what is happening with the whole Hiram situation. Veronica gets a call while her and Reggie are doing something at her apartment, and it's from Hiram. So she calls, she answers, and she goes, I don't have time right now. And it's this guy who is the one, thank God that the editors put in another flashback scene, because I would not have remembered that this is the guy that Archie fought in the bathroom at when the school got raided. And they're after the Palladium. I don't know what that is, but Reggie does, and thankfully Reggie was there. And so this guy, and then Darla and Dodger, they have the governor, Tom Keller, and Hiram all held hostage with her opal, and they have to bring the Palladium to them, and the three of them and the opal will be given back to Veronica. And they had already shot the governor, and but Hiram was able to tell Veronica where they are, which is at the gym. So they all go back to Hiram's office. It's Reggie, Kevin, Fangs, Archie's uncle, Veronica, and Reggie, and they get the safe out of the wall, and now they're gonna go bring it. But Veronica has a very funny line where she goes, it's official, my dad is Lex Luthor, which is a nod to Superman, which is ironic because Jughead's wearing a Superman sweater in all of his things. That's interesting. But Lex Luthor is one of Superman's villains, and wow. I didn't say Alexa. Alexa, stop. That's interesting. I didn't think of that. That's I like that. That might be a connection somehow. And then we see Jughead again. And no. Then we see Betty, Tabitha, and I almost said Phoebe, which is the actress's name, and Jessica in the bunker, because that's where he tripped. So they're like, let's start, like, Jessica wanted to go there. And so she's looking around, and they were like, what are you looking for? And they were like, Jones's manuscript. And Betty's like, I have it. I took it. And she goes, oh, great. She goes, is there anything in there that can tell us? And she's like, no, we read it already. And she goes, here's an idea. How about we go on shrooms? So we really retrace his steps. And Betty and Tabitha are like, oh, hold on, give us a minute. And they're like, no, we can't do that. Like, that's a really bad idea. And then Jessica's like, how about this? I go back to New York. And they're like, yes, like, you gotta, because what if he went back to face his demons? And they were like, yes, that's good. Like, yes, go back. He goes, but it's a long ride. Can we go eat first? I'm like, oh, girl, she is going to lace that food with the shrooms so that way they trip. I already know it. That was the weirdest 10 minutes of television I've ever watched in my life. Well, no, not 10 minutes. Okay, that was the weirdest, like, 4 minutes of television I ever watched in my life. But let's start at the beginning, and then we'll get to the weird stuff. Veronica they make a plan with these people to get the palladium to them, the blue opal and all the people to Veronica. They make they make the plan. Yes. And we see the plan acted out in a little bit, and I'll explain the plan then, because it's very fun. Then, okay. Betty, Tabitha, and Jessica are at Pop's. We see the waitress walk by as Jessica's getting the fries, so we don't see her put the mushrooms on it, but they get there. Then they're eating them, and Jessica and Betty take some jabs back and forth at each other. And it was very interesting to watch that. I have never been in the room with another ex-boyfriend's ex, or even my boyfriend's ex, so I don't know what I would do in that situation, but I'm going to talk about this section in like a long time right now, because I have a lot to say about it. So, you know, Jessica says to Betty, talk about betrayal, you betrayed Jughead. And she's like, of course, the stories that Jughead tells you, he is the blameless victim, but that's not who Jughead is. He's not blameless. And I was just like, okay, but in this situation that she's talking about, he didn't deserve to get cheated on. Then they share the voicemail. He goes, and Betty says she got this voicemail 2 years ago from Jughead. And he says, Betty, hey, where are you? You said you'd come to my book release party, and you bailed on me. And he was like, that's, what else would I expect? For you to always bail on me, because I should have learned that 7 years ago, that you try to find the weaknesses in people and all this stuff. And she's like, you used the one person that would hurt both me and Veronica when you hooked up with Archie. And then he says these words, you are a cold, heartless bitch. And he's crying in this message. Like, you hear Jughead and he is in tears. He's like happy at first. He's like, hey, Betty, where are you? And I don't know if they were in touch those years and she kept saying no, or if they weren't and this was just out of the blue, like from years ago. I see the side where people are like, a woman should never be talked to like that. I totally get it. I also feel like he might have been drunk. Not saying that excuses anything, because it doesn't. But he was hurt still. I mean, also, it was 5 years after the fact, But I guess writing that book is very, it brought out a lot for Jughead to do, and had a lot to do with Betty. So I'm so stuck, because I totally get why Betty's upset about the voicemail. Like, no one should call anyone that. Like, they don't deserve that, especially for just not showing up. But also, Betty cheated on Jughead. Like, we can't forget that. So I'm not saying he's blameless. I'm just saying, like, he is a victim in the sense that you cheated on him. with his best friend. Like, and it was your best friend's boyfriend. Like, I don't know. There's still a disconnect, and I think that we'll see it in future episodes because Betty and Jughead never talked about it. And Jessica's like, wow, I was living with him at the time. And, you know, she said that they just didn't, like, they were toxic for each other and stuff like that. And then you see Betty and Tabitha, they start tripping. And Jessica felt bad then. She was like, all I wanted to do was take the manuscript and go, but let's get you somewhere safe. And they were like, what is so big about this manuscript that you needed this bad? And she said, I saw how he wrote you in Outcasts, and I just didn't want him to do that about me in this new book. So that's why she wanted to read it. And Betty felt bad because I think Betty wished she was able to read Jughead's manuscript before it published, because this makes me, producers, I'm going to say it again, publish Jughead's book. The same way Jane the Virgin published Jane's book, publish his book so we can read it. It's hard to be able, like, we got nothing from the book. We don't know what's in this book at all. Maybe it's like a future thing, but I want to read this book so bad. And then we get to, oh, I forgot, oh no, I didn't. Yes, I did. But Cheryl has Jason's skeleton in her house. Cheryl, come on, girl. Like, come on. Anyway, then Jessica puts music on, and then we get them tripping and singing along. We also get Penelope and Cheryl singing in this new church, and Cheryl's now joining her mom. Like, this is going to be a cult again. Like, it's frustrating. But Cheryl thinks she sees Jason, like, standing there, and that just made her... Cheryl's weak spot is Jason. So hopefully when Tony comes back, she'll be able to, like, knock that out again, just like she did with Farm. Then we get the plan. Veronica goes in by herself because that's what they asked for, and she was like, I could buy you guys like 30 seconds. And so she gets searched, and she's like, this coat is from Lacey's, and it has all these pockets for the businesswoman on the go. She's like, are you just wasting my time? She goes, no, but that was exactly 30 seconds. And then they come in from the ceiling on, like, wires, and they all start fighting each other. And then finally, Veronica gets her blue opal, and Archie gets a good punch in, but Reggie punches people. Kevin, like, ran up over the thing and was, like, getting Darla. It was awesome. It was an awesome fight scene. I love that they've been doing that recently. They've been doing, like, fight scenes in between. It makes the storyline go a little bit faster. So that's good. Okay, I realized I forgot to mention before about when Jughead woke up from when he was in the Skid Row situation, that, oh my god, my heart is pounding. Ooh. That he finally saved Doc, and he felt like, I think he knew to do it, but then he passed out again. And that's how, like, one of the things ended. I don't think I mentioned that here, so I'm just going to put that somewhere, or I'm going to leave it here. I don't know. Oh my god. A lot just happened. But first, Veronica and Archie have a very nice conversation at Pop's, where, you know, are you sure you want to wait? And he's like, yes, but I am torn. But Veronica's like, okay, I'm going to get the divorce, like, going then. And, okay, so that's that. Done. So we know that Veronica and Archie are going to get together soon, once Veronica gets divorced. Hopefully it's soon. Hiram and the governor are now not working together anymore. Hiram basically threatened to kill him if he didn't leave Riverdale once he was better, and never came back. So, Hiram has something else up his sleeve. I just don't know what it is. Tabitha and Betty wake up, and, you know, they're going back and forth, and then Betty said, I give Jessica Jughead's manuscript, and she was like, you did, and you played Jughead's message, the message, and Betty's like, oh, like, she felt bad that and she goes, it's okay. And Tabitha's like, it's okay. It's a secret amongst friends. And I'm like, yes, I love this Tabitha and Betty friendship forming and thriving. It's makes me so happy. Then Tabitha says, I know, like, even though we haven't found Jughead, I love what you're doing, and you're trying to find these girls, and I want to help. So Betty's like really thankful. And then Jughead called Tabitha and left a message. And the message is, I'm sorry that I didn't have a chance to call. I'm sorry about what happened. I'm sorry about everything. Don't blame yourself for me wandering off. There's, like, no one would have been able to stop me. And he goes, I'm going to New York because I have to fight. I have to figure something out there. So, like, okay, at least they know where he's going. Then you see him walking, and then he turns around, and it says, like, New York City, like, 86 miles. And then he turns around, and there is a truck picking him up. Like, like the Lonely Highway. So that's how everything is connected. I knew it. The Mothman, the mole people, the Lonely Highway, everything is connected, and I knew it. But before that, sorry, I jumped the gun because I was really excited about something else that happened after that. But once the truck showed up, I gasped so hard. Gasped. I'm like about to cry about it. Like, that got me hard. Oh my god, I'm crying. He finally went to Doc, and, you know, he told him, well, he asked if the guy that he hit, if he died. And he was like, no. He goes, you hurt him, you knocked him out, and so Jughead was thankful for that. Then he said, look, I want to tell you that my name isn't Henry. And Doc goes, it's Jughead. And me and Jughead said at the same time, we're like, he knew. And he goes, you knew. And it was really sweet. And I think Jughead needed that. And he's like, look, I'm sorry about what happened back then. And he was like, you were a kid. There's nothing you can do about it. You would have been able to stop them. And then he goes, you need to go back home. And that's when Jughead says, no, I have to go to New York first. He goes, something happened to me there, and I'm getting pieces, but I can't figure it out. So hopefully we'll get some, like, New York Jughead. I think next week, so then he calls Tabitha, and he says that part of the message that I already said, and then at the end he goes, maybe when I get home we can finish that dance. And that made me so emotional because, look, I love Betty and Jughead together, obviously. I've made myself, like, perfectly clear. But if Jughead and Tabitha happened, I would not be upset. And I said this in my last video when they kissed. Because, like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm the type of person that just wants to see Jughead happy. However Jughead can be happy, that is what I want to see. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, I am not going to post next week right away. It's just a flashback episode anyway. I mean, I'll post a video about it. But I don't know if it's going to be, like, pushing this story along a little bit. I don't think so. But I want to thank you guys for watching. So I will be seeing you 2 times in 2 weeks. I'll be doing two different videos in 2 weeks for the 2 episodes that I'm going to be doing. But guys, Riverdale is back, and I'm back, and I feel so good talking about it, and I'm talking to people online. So make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. That's where I really, like, focus. I'm also on Tumblr. I'll link my Tumblr down below, like, if you want to follow it. That's Bughead114. My Instagram, and I have 2 Instagrams. My Instagram, my personal Instagram is Catherine Rose, CatherIneRosee. That's the same as my Twitter. Please follow me there. That's where I do most of my Riverdale speak, is on my Twitter. And then I have my other Instagram, which is at Stay Weird Reactions, which is let me know what else you want to see. I can go into like a deep dive before the musical episode on Next to Normal and see how I think it's gonna work. It's something I've been talking a lot with people with the show about is about Next to Normal. I would love to do a video on it. I also want to do another ranking video soon. I think right before the musical episode, I'm gonna put up a ranking video of my favorite Riverdale musical moments. Broadway, like actual musical, not like radio songs. So basically not what we watched tonight. That was just interesting. But anyway, let me know what you're interested in seeing, and I hope we can do this. Oh my God, guys, I'm so excited. This is like putting me back in a good routine. It is 12:40 at night. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. So I need to go to bed, and I can't wait to chat about this with you guys. And if that's all, make sure you stay weird, Riverheads. It feels great to say that again. Bye. Oh, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Oh, fuck, I forgot to do it. To share, like this video, comment down below what you liked about this episode, what else you want to see from me, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so that way you see all my Riverdale content. And I have a whole Baraska series when Baraska was happening last year. And that's it. So make sure you stay weird, Riverheads. Bye.